The Pellington High basketball game is intense. During a timeout, the coach pulls aside his top players, Mason, nicknamed Horse, and Dean, to map out their winning strategy. Back on the court, Mason racks up several critical points. Then a strange sensation hits him, eyes on his back. Dean's voice cuts through the haze, calling his name and breaking the spell. With seconds left, everyone looks to Mason for the final shot. He launches the ball. In that moment, he spots the burned man from earlier, hands stretched toward him. The ball sinks through the hoop. The crowd explodes. The burned figure disappears. Mason bolts to his locker, skin crawling, and yanks it open. He pulls out the old relic. The burned man reappears, closing in. In a panic, Mason grabs a kettlebell and shatters the artifact. The footsteps stop. His teammates soon surround him, cheering. Later, Mason steps into the shower. What starts as peaceful quickly becomes terrifying. This time, the figure lights him on fire. Dean watches in horror as his best friend burns to ash. 6 months later, Chris arrives in Pellington from Chicago, her father killed in a car crash. She's moving in with her uncle and her cousin, Ray. On the way into town, she spots a looming steel plant, where Ray works on weekends, and a church nearby. About an hour later, she reaches the house. Ray greets her with enthusiasm, making her jump. He offers to help unpack, and when he sees her vinyl collection, he jokes about her old school taste. Then he reminds her to get ready for her first day at Pellington High. At school, Ray reads Revenger comics while students stare at Chris. Ray points out the popular groups, starting with Grace. But Chris is more interested in Grace's quiet friend, Ellie, as Ray calls her. Curious, Chris asks about Horse. Ray explains that was Mason's nickname. He died recently. Just then, Mason's friends Dean and Tanner approach. They tell Chris the locker isn't hers. She insists it's what she was assigned. Grace steps in, telling Dean not to make a scene. Hoping to impress Grace, Ray compliments her hair. She smiles, asks about Chris, and Ray says she's his cousin. Dean smirks, calls Chris the new girl, and claims he heard she just left rehab and killed her father. Chris has had enough. She knees him in the groin. Their history teacher, Mr. Craven, spots the chaos and assigns detention to all four. Ellie says Chris did nothing wrong, and Mr. Craven says he saw everything and gives Ellie detention too for lying. The bell rings. Ellie apologizes for Dean and offers help, but Chris declines. Chris finds an old-looking urn in her locker. She opens it and pulls out a whistle carved like a skull. She brings it to her lips to try it, then hears the bell again. Time for detention. Nice of you to join us, Chrysanthemum. Dean laughs at the full name. As Chris sets down her bag, the whistle falls out and hits the table. Dean asks Mr. Craven if the school allows drug pipes. Chris quickly says it's not a pipe. Mr. Craven motions for her to bring it over, and she explains she found it in her locker. Looking closely, Mr. Craven says the carvings look like early Olmec writing or something similar. He tries to translate. Kaba means to call out to something. Then he finds another word, Pixin, which he doesn't recognize. Grace types it into her laptop and says it means, summon the dead. Chris reaches for the whistle, but Mr. Craven pulls it back, saying he'll hold on to it for historical reasons and that she took it out of a school property locker. He ends detention early and asks the students to write a 5-page essay instead. On their way out of school, Grace invites everyone to her house to complete the essay. Meanwhile, Mr. Craven learns the whistle might be worth about $35,000. To test its condition, he blows into it and doesn't notice the door in his classroom cracks while doing so. Satisfied it works, he notes it as in good shape. Outside, Ray tells Chris that Dean had no right to mention her father. Chris shrugs it off. Ray then realizes he left his comic in the classroom and runs back. He sees Mr. Craven leave the room. Once clear, Ray sneaks in, grabs his comic, and notices the teacher's laptop is still on. Outside, a young guy introduces himself as Noah, a youth pastor from St. Mark's Church down the road. He asks if Chris believes in God. She says she's not religious. Noah invites her to his church to meet people and have fun. Then he pulls out drugs as a welcome gift. Ray rushes over and tells Noah to back off. Chris firmly says no. Noah calmly responds that God has a plan for everyone and he's just helping those who need it. Parents send their kids to his church. He sells them drugs. He adds that one kid overdosed a year ago. That night, Mr. Craven looks at vacation deals online. He opens the urn to check the whistle. It's gone. He figures the janitor, Charlie, might know something, so he calls out. In the hallway, he sees a pale, sick-looking man. Mr. Craven says the school is closed and he's trespassing. Suddenly, Charlie appears behind Mr. Craven, scaring him. Rattled, Mr. Craven says he needs to lie down. Charlie says, "Mr. Craven, your secret's safe with me." Craven looks confused, and Charlie makes a smoking motion. Mr. Craven returns to his classroom. The sickly man is waiting inside and inserts his arms into Mr. Craven's chest, and he starts coughing violently, his lungs failing. Within moments, he collapses and dies. Ray and Chris arrive at Grace's house. Ray shows everyone the whistle. Dean jokes about calling his grandfather, but Grace points out his grandpa is still alive. Dean dares his girlfriend to blow it. Chris wants no part of summoning anything death-related. Ellie gently says she doesn't have to. Grace lifts the whistle and blows. After about 10 seconds, Dean asks if anyone else hears something. Chris says goodbye and starts to leave, but Ellie stops her and invites her to the Harvest Festival tomorrow. Chris hesitates, then smiles. Ray runs out and tosses Ellie her insulin pouch. Ellie thanks him and tells Chris she has to get to her hospital shift. Before leaving, she asks Chris to text her about the festival and to get her number from Ray. Chris asks Ray if Ellie is straight. Ray shrugs, he doesn't know, but something tells me we'll find out. Later on that night, Chris lies in bed, drafting a text to Ellie. Delete, rewrite, delete again. Staring at her phone, she feels watched. She looks toward the window and freezes. The door swings open without a knock. Ray barges in, making her jump. She realizes with horror she accidentally sent the last draft. She panics, but Ray tells her to calm down and sends Ellie a reply himself. Meanwhile, Grace does homework by the pool. She hears faint breathing nearby. Thinking it's Timmy, she ignores it, but it continues. Uneasy, she gets out to look. She hears running behind her and spins around. A hand touches her cheek. She turns and sees Timmy. He calmly says their mother wants to talk to her. Next morning, Ray and Chris join the others at the school assembly. Ellie quietly tells them Mr. Craven died last night from stage 4 lung cancer. Doctors said it was a miracle he was even standing yesterday. Ellie then notices a hooded figure a few rows ahead, shaking like a seizure. It slowly turns toward her and seems to mouth her name. Grace hands the whistle back to Chris, saying she doesn't want it anymore. Chris suggests returning the whistle to Mason's family. She and Ellie go to his house. On the way, Ellie notices Chris's tattoos and asks why she hides them. Chris says it's personal. Ellie gently asks how she decides what to get. Chris says, "You find something you love and let it scar you for life." Chris knocks. The door creaks open. They step inside. Mason's grandmother, Ivy, comes downstairs. She mutters she wants to die in this house, but the bank says it's not hers anymore. Ivy leads them to a room full of strange occult items from around the world. She collects them as memento mori, reminders of death. Chris asks if the whistle is hers, saying she found it in Mason's locker. Ivy shakes her head. She didn't find the whistle. It found her, just like it found her daughter and grandson. Chris asks what the whistle does. Ivy says it's called Inchoka, the cry, a stolen relic from a plundered people. Chris says they translated the carving as summon the dead. Ivy gently corrects her. Summon your death. At birth, your death is born alongside you, spends your whole life searching for you. If you're meant to die at 90, death takes 90 years to catch up. But if you hear the whistle scream, it guides death straight to you, much earlier than intended. Shaken, Chris asks what death looks like. Like you, Ivy says. It becomes what you would have been at your final breath. Chris asks what happens if someone doesn't want to die. Ivy simply says, "Then you should never have been born." Outside, Ellie tells Chris that Ivy is heavily medicated and grieving Mason. Grief can twist reality. As a future doctor, Ellie says there's no scientific basis for any of it. Chris nods, then asks if she thinks Craven used the whistle like Mason did. Ellie says maybe their records are at the hospital where she works. Inside the medical records room, Ellie admits Mason's death never added up. He supposedly caught fire in a shower, and the school blamed a gas leak. But his body was so burned they needed dental records to ID him. A doctor enters, the two girls hide behind a shelf. Chris grabs Mason's dental file and asks how old he was when he died. 17, Ellie says. Chris reads the coroner's report. Bone density and structure suggest someone in their late 40s. Chris repeats Ivy's words. "You become what you would have been at your last breath." Ellie connects the dots. Mason was supposed to die in his late 40s, but the whistle made it happen early. Same for Craven, he was always going to die of lung cancer, just not yet. Realizing the danger, they rush to warn the others. At the Harvest Festival, Ray spots Noah slipping something to Grace. He steps in and tells her she doesn't need that garbage. "It's just weed," Grace says casually. Ray urges her to throw it away and let him win her a teddy bear at a game. But Grace gently turns him down, saying he'll make someone much better than her very happy someday. Grace walks to Dean and proposes a game. She'll go into the hay maze, and he has to wait 2 minutes before coming after her. If he finds her before she rings the bell at the center, he wins. Chris and Ellie arrive. Chris calls Ray, no answer. Before they can search, Noah shows up again, trying to sell drugs. Chris isn't impressed. Noah pulls a knife, claiming he wasn't trying to hurt anyone. Chris grabs it and demands to know about the boy his drugs killed. Noah says he has no idea what she's talking about. Chris cuts his nose, leaving a gash. In the maze, Grace runs, laughing nervously as actors in costume jump out. Dean and his friend enter after the countdown. Deeper in, Grace hears someone call her name. She thinks it's Dean. She turns a corner and sees an old woman staring at her. The woman softly says her name again. Grace runs. Outside, Chris asks Ray where everyone is. "The maze, probably," he says. After winning a teddy bear, Ray joins them at the maze entrance, and the three hurry inside. Grace calls Dean, whispering that a creepy old woman is following her. Dean laughs, saying it's just part of the haunted attraction. But Grace is terrified. She drops her phone and screams. She grabs a shovel and swings at the old woman's head. The blow knocks the woman sideways, but Grace falls hard too. She gets up, touches her temple, and sees blood, just like the woman she hit. The old woman rises again. Grace runs. Dean calls her name over and over. No reply. Grace spots a narrow gap in the hay bales and squeezes through. She turns. The old woman is right behind her. The figure lunges and grabs her. Grace breaks free and stumbles forward. Finally, she sees the bell at the center. Dragging herself to it, she rings it with her last strength. The clang echoes. Dean, Chris, Ellie, and Ray all rush toward the sound. Later, Dean insists the old woman couldn't be Grace. Chris looks at him steadily and says she was, and she was meant to die of old age. "She's 18, Dean snaps. Ellie reminds him that when Grace blew the whistle, they were all there. It summoned their deaths. "I feel it watching. I've seen it too." Dean refuses to believe it. He says he's going home to wait for Grace to call. Then he blames Chris, saying everything started going wrong when she showed up. Ray steps in. "Dean dared Grace to blow it. It's your fault she's dead." Dean shoves Ray to the ground and sneers that someone like him could never be with a girl like Grace. That night, Dean locks himself in his room. He notices a bloodied figure in the corner. He flips on the light. It vanishes. His father knocks. Dean says he had a nightmare. His father isn't convinced, asking if he's been drinking again and warning him not to drink and drive. That could very well be the death of you. At Ray's house, Chris asks how Ray is doing. Ellie says Grace was his childhood crush. He's destroyed. After a long silence, Chris admits something she's never told anyone. A year ago, she overdosed. Her father found her, rushed her to the hospital. On the way, a truck hit their car. He died. She lived. Ellie softly says she's sorry. Chris says she listens to her father's music to feel close to him. Then she admits she sometimes wishes she had died instead. Ellie leans in and kisses her. Chris pulls back, surprised, and laughs nervously, saying she's not as smart or together as Ellie. Ellie smiles and says, "But you're chrysanthemum." This time, Chris kisses her back. On the terrace, Ray has a vision of himself crushed by machinery at the steel factory. The next morning, they visit Ivy. She's on her deathbed now. Chris tells her the whistle has killed one of their friends and asks what it wants. Ivy explains that ancient civilizations fed souls to their death gods, and Enchoka has been collecting for thousands of years. Ellie asks how to stop it. Ivy says death is unstoppable. Once summoned, it won't quit. But there's one way to change its course. When death is near, mark your blood on someone else, offering a new sacrifice to Enchoka. Suddenly, Chris sees her own death nearby. With her last breath, Ivy whispers, "Death isn't a choice. Living is." Ray considers the sacrifice idea. Chris and Ellie refuse. Chris admits she saw her death. It looked like a future overdose. Desperate, Ray tries again to convince them. They refuse again and he storms out. In the next scene, Dean watches a news report about the festival tragedy. Authorities found an unidentified elderly woman's body. He turns off the TV. His bedroom door creaks open. The bloodied figure is back. His father calls out, asking if he's okay. Dean doesn't answer. He barricades the door. His parents pound and demand he open it. The figure touches him. His body twists violently, like a high-speed crash. His parents break down the door and scream at what they see. Chris and Ellie go to Ray's house. He's gone. They head to the steel mill where he works. Meanwhile, Ray storms into the church with a gun. He orders Noah to come with him. A church bell distracts Ree for a split second. Noah grabs the gun and tries to fire. The magazine is empty. Ray knocks him out. At the mill, Ray ties Noah to a chair. He says, "This is where I'm supposed to die, so this is where you die." He slices his palm, ready to mark Noah with his blood. Noah panics, asking if this is black magic. Ray feels his death approaching. Just as he moves to mark Noah, Chris and Ellie burst in, yelling for him to stop. Ray shakes, desperate, arguing that a murderous scumbag like Noah gets to live while they die. But in the end, he can't do it. He whispers, "I guess everyone has to die once." That clicks for Chris. She says she's found a way out. Before she can explain, Ray's hands are caught in unseen machinery. In seconds, he's gone. Chris sobs. Ellie holds her. Then Chris vows she won't let death take Ellie. She explains her plan. Trick death into thinking they're dead, just for a few minutes. Chris sees Ellie's insulin and asks if it can stop the heart briefly. Ellie says insulin alone won't cause cardiac arrest, then pauses and says she has another idea. Chris asks her to bring the supplies inside. Chris goes in and faces death. Ellie enters, prepares the medicine. Chris sets up an ice bath and a defibrillator. Chris offers to inject Ellie first, but Ellie refuses. She needs to make sure Chris will live. Within seconds, Chris collapses. Ellie lowers her into the ice water to protect her brain while her heart stops long enough to fool death. Noah regains consciousness. He grabs the gun and staggers outside. Ellie starts resuscitation. No pulse, compressions, nothing. Chris doesn't move. Ellie hears the shutter screech as Noah tries to force it open. Her hands shake, but she keeps going. Then Ellie sees her own death standing behind her. Chris faces her own death. They fight. The figure overpowers her. Then Chris remembers Ivy's words. Dying isn't a choice, but living, that's on you. She focuses on Ellie's voice, faint but steady, calling her name. Back in reality, Noah bursts in and fires at Ellie. She sees Ellie's death. Noah raises the gun again, ranting about God's plan, about helping those in need. about Chris being beyond saving. He declares he's washed in the lamb's blood. Then he sees a bloated, horrible figure in front of him. Terrified, he fires wildly. Then he dies. 3 months later, Ellie and Chris are officially together and stronger for everything they survived. Meanwhile, a freshman named Asha opens her locker and finds an old urn inside. Later at the school assembly, Asha is introduced as the new student playing the national anthem on her violin. She steps to the microphone, lifts the whistle, and blows as Chris and Ellie try to stop her. And that's the horror movie Whistle 2026. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and share the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.